The deductible applies right here.
Wait, this code isn't pre-authorized in your plan.
So what does that mean for the cost?
Let me ask you something. If you went to the doctor and someone from your insurance company walked in the room, looked at your chart, and then told your doctor how to treat you, and your doctor wasn't allowed to argue back, you'd lose your freaking mind, right? That'd be insane. It'd be a scandal. Well, that's exactly what's happening to you in your home every single day when you have to file a claim for storm damage, and nobody's talking about this right now. My name is Jared, and I've been in the construction industry for almost 15 years. I've seen this system up close, and today I'm going to walk you through one of the most overlooked injustices in the entire insurance industry. One that has quietly destroyed the relationship between homeowners and the contractors who are supposed to help them. Stay with me, because by the end of this, you're going to see the whole game differently. Here's how the world's supposed to work. When your home is damaged by a storm, a fire, a flood, whatever it is, two separate systems kick in, two completely different lanes of expertise. Lane one, insurance, the adjuster, licensed, regulated by the State Department of Insurance. Their job, their entire legal purpose, is to interpret your policy, to figure out what your coverage says, what's owed, and how that claim should be valued. That's the lane they're trained for. That's the lane they're licensed in. And then there's lane two, construction, the contractor, licensed, regulated by the state's contractor board. Their job, their entire legal purpose, is to interpret building codes, assess structural damage, and determine what it actually takes to restore a home to proper code-compliant condition. That's their lane. That's their license. Two lanes, two experts working together for the benefit of the homeowner. That's the theory. Well, here's the reality. In most states across the country, it is a crime, an actual crime, for a contractor to engage in what's called public adjusting without a license. That means a contractor cannot negotiate or interpret insurance policy language with an adjuster on behalf of their client. They can't say, hey, your policy covers code upgrades, and your adjuster is leaving them off the estimate. That's considered practicing as a public adjuster without a license. It can get a contractor fined, and it can cost them their license. Think about what I just said. The person licensed to read blueprints, pull permits, and build structures is prohibited from speaking coverage. The person licensed to read policy documents and calculate claim values is completely free to write itemized line-by-line estimates for physical construction work. Work they have never performed, work they are not licensed to perform, work they would not be allowed to legally do themselves. The adjuster can write you a scope of work for your roof, your floors, your walls, and that estimate becomes the baseline for your claim. And the contractor, the one who has to actually climb on roofs, isn't allowed to formally push on it through the proper channels without risking their license. That's not a balanced system. That's a one-way gate. And it's been designed, whether intentionally or not, to keep claim payouts low. Let's do a thought experiment. Imagine you hire a plumber to fix a gas line. He shows up, looks at it, and says, actually, I think this should be electrical. Here's my estimate for rewiring it. You'd ask him, are you a licensed electrician? And if he said no, you'd send him home. Because we all intuitively understand that expertise is domain specific. That licensing exists for a reason. That crossing into someone else's regulated lane without proper credentials is dangerous. But in the insurance world, that logic disappears completely. insurance adjusters, many of whom have never swung a hammer professionally, never pulled a building permit, never stood in front of a code inspector, are routinely writing construction estimates and defending themselves as authoritative documents. And when a licensed contractor says that number doesn't reflect what it actually costs to build this correctly, they can be dismissed, stonewalled, or worse, accused of trying to inflate the claim. Here's where the homeowner gets caught in the middle. The homeowner trusts their insurance company. They've been paying premiums for years. They expect to be taken care of. So when the adjuster hands them an estimate that's $15,000 short of what the repair actually costs, they don't think the adjuster is wrong about the construction. They think my contractor must be trying to rip me off. The system has set up the contractor to be the villain in the story, where the contractor is actually the only person in the room who knows what the repair is actually going to take. The insurance industry has spent the better part of 2 decades running a quiet campaign, not through billboards or commercials, although that's part of it, but through the slow, consistent messaging that contractors are opportunists, storm chasers, fraud artists, people looking to take advantage of vulnerable homeowners in their worst moments. And yes, bad actors do exist in every industry. I won't pretend otherwise. But the scale of that narrative is widely disproportionate to the reality. Because the real fraud in the system, it's not the contractor charging fair market rate for storm damage. It's the adjuster writing estimates based on software formulas that haven't kept pace with the actual material costs, labor costs, and code requirements, and having that estimate treated as the gold standard. The result is a homeowner who calls 3 contractors, gets 3 estimates that all look too high compared to what the insurance company said, and concludes that all 3 contractors are dishonest, when actually, all 3 contractors are just telling the truth. That's the scam, not a single dramatic moment. Just 20 years of a system that consistently devalued the expertise of one licensed professional while elevating the unqualified opinions of another, and then blame the first one for the gap. So what does a fair system actually look like? It looks like this. Adjusters interpret policy, contractors interpret construction, and when there's a gap between the insurance estimate and the contractor's estimate, both sides are required to defend their numbers through their actual area of expertise, not across each other's lanes. It looks like states closing the loophole that allows unlicensed construction opinions to drive claim values while simultaneously protecting contractors from punitive action for simply advocating for code complaint repairs on behalf of their clients. It looks like homeowners being educated before the storm hits about what their policy actually covers, what public adjusters do, what their contractor's role is and isn't, and why a gap between 2 estimates isn't automatically evidence of fraud. If you're a homeowner watching this, the next time your contractor's estimate doesn't match the insurance company's estimate, before you assume the contractor is lying, ask one question. Ask them to walk you through the line items. Ask them what the adjuster left out and why. A legitimate contractor will show you exactly where the gap comes from, because they're reading from a set of building codes that the adjuster has no obligation to know. And if you're a contractor watching this, keep documenting. Keep showing your work. Keep being the professional in the room. The truth is on your side, even when the system isn't designed to hear it. This video exists because someone needs to say it plainly. The distrust that homeowners have for contractors didn't come from nowhere. It was manufactured, slowly and systematically, by a regulatory imbalance that was never designed with the homeowner's best interest in mind. If this made you think a little bit, share it. If you're in the industry and have been living this reality, drop it in the comments. I want to hear your story. And if you want to go deeper on how to navigate claims, protect yourself as a homeowner, and understand what your policy actually says, subscribe, because this is just the beginning. I'm Jared. Thanks for watching, and remember, the most dangerous thing in any industry isn't the bad actor you can see. It's the broken system you've been told is normal.